Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live once again. All right. I'm going to be right with you. Hope you all had a great day today. I worked at home today, from home today. And I, of course, started my kiln up today. So it's firing right now, really slow. So, but I'm praying it goes well. Hopefully, hopefully it gets done sometime tonight. Probably around 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, sometime around then. That's what I'm hoping for. All right. So what I decided to do, hello. Wait a second. Let me get this up so I can see my chat. Because right now I can't see you guys. So hopefully I will be able to see you soon. Okay. I will be able to see you soon. Okay. There we go. Turn the volume down on that. Looks like I am live. Can't see my head. Let's see. Let's move the camera back a little bit. I'll tilt the camera. Let's do some adjustments. I did not realize you couldn't see me. So let me get this adjusted. Let's see here. Let's tilt you up a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do a couple moves here. Let's come down a little bit. So I had this all changed over for when I was working on the table. So I'll get two of these stands. That way I can have one that's already tall and one that's a little bit lower. Make my life a little bit easier. All right. I think that looks okay. Do it like that. How's that, guys? That should be good. I think so. Hopefully the sound is good. All right. Sounds good. Looks like you're going to be able to see my face all right. So while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm just going to continue to get ready. Let's see. Wish this was closer to me so I could actually see what y'all are saying. I think that will work though. Yeah, so I think that'll work. You can almost see my head. All right. Maybe if I move it back a little bit and up. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. Back a little bit. Up a little bit. Hopefully that works. All right. You can still see my work. Looks like this is in the way. That'll be good. So hopefully everybody's doing good today. I didn't clean my wheel up very good. So anyhow, the last time you saw me on the wheel, I did a bunch of mugs. So we're going to do another batch of mugs tonight. And then I'm just going to handle everything at one time, probably on Wednesday, tomorrow. All right. Okay. There we go. So I'll do a different style of mug tonight, since I did that other style you saw me make on Monday. So chat, live chat is open. If you want to comment, ask questions, you're more than welcome to do that. Keeps me company while I'm here. Oh, come on now. All right. Usually put that little crack right there. All right. So let's start throwing some mugs. I don't think you can ever have too many mugs. That's good enough. And if you're here just listening, that's great. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're notified when I do go live. I will be going live every day at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, of course. So if you want to join me, all right. I did not wedge my clay. I didn't have time. All right. So if you're listening in, I think what I'll do Wednesday is try to do like a wacky Wednesday, I'm going to call it. Yeah, it's going to be a vertical live stream just to change it up in the middle of the week. But Thursday and Friday, we'll go back to the horizontal stream. All right. So I'm going to do a different shaped mug. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet for it. So we're going to figure that out first. I'm working with 20 ounces of clay, roughly. It's not, of course, perfect. It doesn't have to be. All right. I think that's pretty good. Let's see, how do I want to make this? Make the bottom a little bit more narrower and then have it come out more. I think I could do that. I come in a little bit here, like that, right? Round this off a little bit like that. Just checking my thickness here, making sure it's the same all the way up. Make the rim the way I like it, so it's comfortable to drink out of. And let's see here. So I got a new addition here, and I'm hoping it works. We'll see here. It just is going to, I think, help get in the inside in here. Get the water out of it without me having to stick my hand in there and then ruin the shape of the mug, which I've done that quite a few times. If you know, you know. Let's see. Let's put that over here. It's a little long. I'm going to trim it up. I'm just going to have to decide how long I want to make it. So make this rim. Just check it a little bit, make sure it's correct. And I think what I'm going to do is clean the bottom off a little bit. It's kind of a different shaped bottom one there. Get the clay. So this is my first one. I'm kind of trying to decide exactly how I want to make it. And then I'll do the rest of them the same way, or at least as close as possible. Need to get a mirror again, since I broke my one mirror. Let's see, what am I going to do with this bottom? Not quite happy with the way it looks yet. I could make it a nice round bottom like that. I don't think it's going to look very nice though. I want this to come out just a little bit more, I think. I think that'll work. Let's see, do I like that mug? So I'm going to make 20 of these things. I want to be able to make sure I like it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't care for the bottom of it. Let me try something different here at the bottom. It's a much wider cup or mug. Could be a cup, actually. I think I like that shape better. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to work with. So I got to make sure the bottom is in and the top is out to the proper height. Get the water out of the inside there. All right. Yeah, I think that'll look all right. So now, try to sort of mass produce this thing. So I'm going to set up my gauge and try to throw to that gauge. So every piece is similar to that one. Let's see. Adjust this a little bit. Probably right about in there, I think. You can move it down. Come out a little bit there. Move it down and out. Come on, go on. Make sure I'm against my splash pan. We'll put it right about there. I'll slide it up a little bit. We'll make it so it's right about there. Since I touched this lip, I'm going to straighten it up. All right. I think that'll work just fine. All right. Yep. And with that thing there like that, that kind of screws it up. I'm going to hit that. Let's slide that one over there. Yeah, I like that shape. We'll go with it. All right. All right. All right. feel like there's a hard spot in that clay. So I need to bring that bottom in quite a bit. There we go. That's about where I want to have it. That's a little further than I wanted, I think. Hands are getting dry. Can't let your hands get dry doing this. Yeah, there is a spot in that clay. Just a little spot in that clay. You know what? Let's get this other one out here. Do that. Let's get this out of there. Get the water out of it. I'm not completely sold on that. Right now that's going to screw me up. I didn't like that lip, so I folded it down a little bit. Not really sold on that design either. I think it'd be a nice cup for sure. Hey Joyce, how you doing? Good to see you in here. Looks like you're probably one of the first ones in here for chat. Trying to decide on what I'm going to make these mugs look like. I'm not real happy with what I have so far. I mean, it's kind of a large mug for sure. And with the bottom narrow like that. Some people don't like the throwing lines in it. I like the throwing lines in it. I think it adds a personality to the piece. Each piece is a little more unique that way. And I'm not looking to make them all perfectly the same, you know? I like the uniqueness in each mug. They should feel kind of similar from one mug to the other as far as the handle goes, I think. But as far as the throwing lines, I don't think they need to be the same. It gives it character, you know? I think I like this design. Maybe I'll throw a couple different designs and see how I like them. But I do kind of like that. It's nice and wide. It's going to shrink quite a bit, so I think we'll run with that one for now. I'm going to take this away, and I'm going to just kind of play around here a little bit in some different shapes. I know I want a nice, tall, slender mug because I want to put a lid in it for like a travel mug type deal. And so I have an idea for that design. I mean, I like it. It's got a unique design. It's different from the first one I just did, but I'm kind of just feeling my way through each piece, seeing what I like, what I don't like. Looks like it will hold a lot. It definitely will hold a lot. Definitely will. Let me get this chat closer to me so I can see it a little bit better without being too much in the screen. Wish there was a way I could make this box bigger so I could actually see the chat better. But yeah. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to flip that one over. Yeah, much better. I did not handle the mugs yet from Monday. I figured I would do more mugs and then handle them all together. So then tomorrow, I think I'll be able to do that. And then I have a customer coming Monday or tomorrow, but I'm not sure what time yet. So we'll see about the live tomorrow, but should be okay. But we'll see what time they want to come, and we'll just go from there. But I think tomorrow I'd like to do a vertical live, so I'm going to call it Wacky Wednesdays with a vertical live. I don't particularly care for vertical lives, but I think it'll add a little bit of difference in the middle of the week and call it a Wacky Wednesday because it's vertical. For some of us, that's wacky. But that'd be unique or kind of, you know. I didn't wedge my clay, so I'm kind of doing that on the wheel right now, checking for air pockets. Hopefully I can pop them doing this. I call it wedging on the wheel. I don't know what it's called, coning, but I do find that when I do cone it like that, I do get some of the air out. Okay, so let's make this more of a, sort of like what I just did with the shape, but make it a little bit more vertical with a narrow base. Do a narrow base. All right. I don't know if I want to have it that narrow at the bottom. I want it narrow, but not maybe that narrow. Gotta do something like that. Yeah, I think we'll do something like that. I don't really want to have anything special in the bottom here. I just want to kind of keep it straight. Come on. All right. Gotta do something like that, maybe. Let's see. Oh, you have the same wheel. That's cool. How do you like your wheel? I like this one. It's an older wheel. I got it used, but there wasn't anything wrong with it. You know, it's a little bit. It's not super loud, but I think it needs a new belt. That'd probably quiet it down a little bit more. Maybe some belt dressing on it. But I think the whining comes from the motor. I probably could insulate it a little bit down there. But years ago, these wheels were built on a steel platform. The white top plate was steel. And I found that was probably a little bit more quiet. But now that this one here is like plastic, and like the first wheel I had like this, it was metal. I wish I would have kept it. But yeah, the plastic I don't care for. I know it makes the wheel lighter, but I'd rather a heavy wheel, you know. Yeah, I do too. Yep, Clay Boss. Yep. I like it. I think it's just as good as any other wheel. I mean, when it comes to wheels, it just, you have some that are quieter, you know, and that's okay. I mean, you have some that are bigger. I like the 14-inch wheel head. I really like that. Because my first wheel I have sitting over here that I purchased, it's the Nidec or wheel Shimpo. Nidec bought Shimpo. But anyhow, it's a Shimpo wheel, but the wheel head is probably about, I want to say 12 inches, maybe 12 inches. And I really don't care for it too much. It's great for doing smaller stuff like this. When you want to do bigger stuff, I like the bigger wheel head. I'm making a kick wheel though, not a kick wheel. I'm making a treadle wheel off of the Leech design. Making myself one of those. I have it almost all the pieces now to where I could actually probably start putting it together. But I'd really like to work off of a treadle wheel, I think. It just, I feel like I'm more in tune with the whole throwing. I want to give it a try. I wanted to go up and see Simon. Maybe I will here this summer, get a chance to go up and see him. And I would like to use his wheel if he'd let me and see how I like it. Because he really only uses treadle wheels. Yeah, I think I like that height. Now, if I'm going to make a lid for this thing, I want it to be captured. So what I'm going to do is bring this lip in on the top. I don't need it to come in real far. How do I want to do that? Because I could really just bring in two sides of it. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. I could do that. That makes more sense. It's just bring in two sides instead of the whole thing. All right. Changing plans. Let's move it back out again. And then basically I'll move in two sides. Kind of like that. Yeah. I think that's what I'll do. Because then I think what will happen is I can capture. You can rotate the lid to where. That's not going to work either. I don't like that idea either. See, I think through these designs and I don't care for that idea either. We'll get back to ground zero again. Yeah, I like it. I definitely like it. So do you throw a lot, Joyce? I mean, you have your own studio and everything, and that you throw a lot? Oops. I think what I do, I have to create a shelf. So maybe I do need to bring this in this way. See if I can collar it in. Come on. I think we need to come down like this and come out. Look at that. I think that's what I need to do. This can be straight. I don't know why I did that. This can be straight. And let's bring this in like this. Like that. Make this part straight. And then what I can do is bring the two corners in. Oh, hey, Leah, how you doing? Good to see you in here. Oh, man, I wish I could get closer. I need to get my glasses, I think. I bet that's in my settings where I can make that a little bit bigger text. Would be more helpful. It'd probably help if I didn't have clay all over my screen. Yeah, so I could actually read past the clay spots. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you know, at least you probably have windows in your garage, right? Down here, I've got these really small windows, but in the wintertime, they let all kinds of cold air in. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is push this in. So if I push it in like that, push this in like that, kind of like that. I'm going to just do that, yeah. As long as it rotates in here, I'm okay. So what I'm doing, Lee, is I'm coming up with another design. It's going to be something like this. And it's going to have a lid that will sit in here, and you rotate it and it locks it so it can't fall out. So it'd be more like a travel mug or a travel cup is what I'm thinking. I'm going to have to work with a design up here, I think. I'll come up with something probably better than that. But oh, you love it? Well, I'm working on the idea, on the design. So we will see how that works. So the lid is going to, of course, have one spot where it's cut so that you rotate that cut spot over to where the side you're going to be drinking off of. And then if you want to take the lid out, you simply rotate that to one spot and pull it out. But these here will hold the lid in while you're drinking. That's the idea. And it could be a travel mug, or I can make it into a mug, or a travel mug, or I can make it into a cup, is what I want to say. So that's the idea I'm looking to do. I got to work on this, though. That design will evolve for sure. And it will be better than ever. All my new stuff that I come up with, I work at a couple of different times, and eventually it falls into place. A little bit of rock there. A little bit of rock and roll going on there. Ah, that's better. These masonite bats are working really well for me. They're nice and thin. They're like 3/8 of an inch thick. And they're holding up pretty good so far. I've used them quite a few times already now, and I'm really liking them. They don't warp too bad. Of course, they will a little bit, but you just flip them over and then it still works. So I'm liking them. Let's try another travel mug or something and see what work through that idea, you know. So Lee, I was telling Joyce that I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is do a Wacky Wednesday, and I'm going to do a vertical live on Wednesdays. I don't particularly care for vertical lives, but I think that it will change it up a little bit and maybe help with the, the people that do flip through vertical, streams, and they might land on me and actually subscribe. So we're going to try it. I did look at software a little bit today. I could not find StreamYard. I don't know if StreamYard went out of business or what it is. I couldn't find them. I have used them before, though. But I guess that was off of a different phone. Wheel's going too fast. I don't mind wheel going fast when I'm centering or pulling up for the first pull, but after that, I really don't like a fast wheel. I think I need to keep some thickness at the top. At the bottom, I don't need my thickness so much. I'm going to try to pull it up. That's pretty well the same thickness. What is it about today? It seems like everything's dry today. What's going on? All right. Let's get this shape more to what I want. There we go. That's more pretty. All right. So I kept a little bit more clay up the top, I hope, so I can work through this. Need the bottom to be narrower. I kind of like having that little bit of a ripple at the bottom. That helps to catch some of that glaze. And when you're glazing, it actually helps to give it a spot where it can stay straight across the bottom. So a lot of my mugs, you'll see that on there. Even some of my bowls. That little sponge really does pull a lot of water out. So I'm going to bring that up. I need to have a spot in there for the lid. So if I do that, I need to create a shelf for it to sit on. I think I have to kind of work it through how I'm going to make this piece when I'm throwing, because I need to come up and in when I throw. That way I can create that shelf a little bit easier and less moves than what I'm doing right now. Or I can keep a lot more clay and split the lip. So now I've got a little bit of clay here where I can thin it out more. All right, so that's thinned out more. I don't like it bulging right there. I do not like it to bulge. It needs to come in more. Come on. Don't fold up on me now. Come on now. I know that I'm working the clay a little bit more than what I should be. And I do throw kind of thin walls. That's why I want to do some less throws, because now I'm just making the clay wet. All right, let's do this. So that created that. I don't like to have it do this though. So I am going to have to bring it in at the top when I throw, and then I can pull this out. That's what I can do. Or I can make it rounded here. I can just do this. Make it a little more rounded, like right in here. Make it a little bit more thin right here. When I throw, yeah, something like that. And bring this in. This out. Like that. That's a little bit better. And then, actually, that actually might work out. That actually might work out better, because now it's got, from when your mouth is on it, I think that will. You guys are watching me work through a design, is what you're doing. I hope this is interesting. Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work out the way I throw it so I can do it in less movements. So when I throw, I'm going to have to come up out, and then back in. And once I'm back in, I need to leave enough clay where I can bring it out on the very top like this. And also I'm thinking about how you're going to use it. You know, it needs to fit in the cup holders, right? If you're going to take it with in your car. So it needs to be a little bit narrower down here. It can bulge out, that way we get more fluid in it. And we can put a handle on it, although so many people are so used to just these tumblers. Maybe I don't put a handle on it, you know? But maybe I'll make some with handles and some without. But I think I like the idea of it bulging out a little bit up top. It adds more fluid. And then at the top here, I need to get the water out of the inside because I think I'm done with that. You had to put the kiddos to bed. Oh, no. Well, I'm glad you find it interesting. Well, I'm sorry you guys are feeling under the weather, Leah. Let's see. Can you push the clay in for a ridge to catch it, then straight up? I could, because I want to keep like the inside right now. You guys can't see this. So right now, I created a spot in that lip to where it comes out like that and it rotates out. So when your mouth is on it, the fluid, when it comes out, should come right up into your mouth. And then what I'll do is just push these ends up. I can push this in like this. Push this side in like this. Kind of like that. So the lid fits in here. I think I'm going to have to bring that up more. So now you can rotate the lid to one side or the other. Of course, if it's a tumbler, it doesn't really matter. As long as I need enough room in here for it to rotate. I'm not sold on the shape yet, but it's kind of working through it. It could be just, you know, kind of a V shape. I get more volume if I do it like this. This is kind of the shape that I'm going for as far as the top goes. It's I think I made it a little thin. Yeah, I made it a little thin. Now it wobbles. Do you push the clay in? Let me get my glasses so I can read your text. The lettering is like so freaking small, and I can't. I'm gonna have to adjust that in my settings, I guess, so that I can actually see the freaking print. I think I could do that up here, actually. Up here, where is it? Somewhere up here. No. Well, there's an interpreter on here. I probably really should look at my tablet because it probably would help me a lot when it comes to it. It might actually read the text if I figure out how to use the thing. All right, let me get my glasses over here, and then I can read what you're saying. All right, that's a little better. Can you push the clay in for a ridge to catch the lid and then straight up? Yes. You could, yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't trap the lid. That's why I have these here, is to trap the lid. And you're going to have to rotate the lid. Like, let me throw a lid once. Let me cut this. Let me throw a lid once. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with the lid. I really should make them a little thicker because that's a little, it was wobbly. All right, that's about 22 ounces. All right, let's see where we're at here. I'm not quite sure how much clay I want. All right, so I don't need this much clay. Let's try that amount once. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Oh, you mean a little bit lower? Okay. You all right? Allergies, kick her ass this year. Just developed bad cough. Okay. Oh, that's, yeah. Allergies really stink right now. Clinic. That is good. All right, so let's make a little lid. I'm sure I don't have the correct amount of clay. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, I got way too much clay here. I don't need that big of a I don't need that much clay at all. And I'll bring this out. And if I rethink this, all right. Where's my needle tool? Actually, let me use the wood. All right, we're going to do this. All right. Let's bring this back down. Yeah, I got this all screwed up. Let me straighten this out. This is on the fly here, guys, so I did not weigh my clay out. Be something like that. Is what I'm thinking. Ooh, that's all right. So we'll do that. And then, so what I'm thinking is, I don't have a cutter here, but I'm going to use this and go in and out and try to cut that off there now. Like that. Okay. Something like that, I think. It's going to be a little more refined than this, okay? I'm sure you understand. This is just on the fly. So it'll look something like that. So this is kind of what I'm talking about for a lid. So that then you can rotate it to one of those two sides. Or I could just trap the one side. I could just trap the one side. So when you rotate this to that, it will let come out, you know? No, I got to trap both sides, I think. I have to. Yeah, I got to trap both sides. That's really what's going to hold the lid in. I can't trap it all the way around because then it ain't going to come out. So you got to be able to rotate it in order to take the lid out. That's the idea. But so that's what I'm thinking with the lid. Could design it a different way. That's what I'm saying. I got to work through this design, I think. Because I could do it probably completely different than what I'm thinking right now. And it's going to be like, holy crap, that was easy. Once I see the vision, you know? What can I make with this little tiny piece? Make a tiny bowl. It's too dry. Too dry. The fingers are sticking. There we go. There we go. It's always fun to see you come up with new designs. Now I have something to ponder about tonight. I have never tried to make one. Yeah. Yeah, why don't you try to make one, Joyce, and see what you come up with. I mean, it's an interesting idea, right? You just I want to be able to rotate the lid to pull it out. But you can only rotate it 2 ways in order to pull the lid out. So I love designing things. So that's me, just being me, I guess. I like to come up with new stuff. All right. That's a nice little bow. That clay just felt lonely in that bag full of larger pieces of clay. Now you gotta make you out of something pretty and useful. There we go. Nice little bowl. All right. Everybody needs a little bowl. Okay. There we go. Okay, good. Let me know what you come up with. And I will continue to try working at my design. And by tomorrow, I'm going to figure out how to make this text bigger on my tablet. I know I can probably change the resolution in it or something to make it change. Because I don't think that YouTube has anything in there that allows me to change the size of that text. So Joyce, you have your own kiln, I'm guessing? What kind of kiln do you have, if you have one? Nope, not YouTube. Okay. The StreamYard. Okay, cool. Yeah, I did download an OBS, but I was trying it on my phone and it just did all kinds of ads and crap like that. I don't know if you have to buy it to not have all those ads, but I don't know. I looked at it a little bit tonight. Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I I had an old kiln as well. It was about 7 cubic feet, but I got it on the cheap, you know, and I had to replace all the elements. I replaced the wiring inside, the thermocoupler. I had to replace some of the bricks. Um, so basically, I rebuilt the kiln, and it worked better then, of course. But I'm, you know, it's a nice kiln. It works. It's just all manual, 100% manual. So I had to watch it. It has a kiln sitter on it, but I still had to watch that thing and adjust temperature constantly. I bought a digital oh, I think you know what I mean. I can't even anyhow, it's digital to read, so I knew what the temperature was, so I could keep track of it that way and not just the cones. Ooh. All right, so if I would do this, I shouldn't have made it this tall because I think I went thin again. I didn't really want to do that. I have a habit of doing that because I don't want my mugs to weigh a lot. You know, you're going to put liquid in it anyhow, so what you don't want them heavy. See how thin it is right there? I got to be careful with that. I'm afraid I went too far. Let's bring it in a little bit. Maybe I can save it a little bit. There is a spot right there that's just kind of weird. I don't know what it is. There we go. I straightened it up more. Yeah, let's see. I guess you have to watch it and change temps too. Yeah. That for me, having a regular job really sucked because I could only fire on the weekends. And so it just made it a lot harder for me. Yeah, right there is a spot, and it feels like it's something hard in there. All right, so that's more narrow. So that made the walls a little bit thicker now. I don't need all the clay at the bottom like that. All right, that's probably a little bit more manageable for me. So now bring this top in. You still here, Leah? Rib the weak spot? Yeah, I probably should rib it to help bring that in. I mean, it feels like it's okay right now. But I am going to rib it to get the excess water off of that. And I bought this thing because it's got a nice sharp edge on it. I thought, wouldn't it be great to be able to do that with it? Just like that. And then on my slip, I bought that at Lowe's, and I thought, man, I could use that, I think. Such a neat tool. We're doing drywall, nonetheless. But I thought I could use that in my studio. All right, we got some of the water off of it, so hopefully that helps. So you still here, Leah? Because I don't know if you heard me talk about Wednesday, tomorrow, about what I'm going to do for the Wednesday live. All right, so that's, the walls are a little bit thicker now, a little bit thicker. So I need to bring this in a little bit. So if I bring this out, like that, bring this out more, like that. So now it's got a spot for the lid to sit on. But I think what you're saying is have that edge square in there a little bit more. And I actually have an old credit card that I think might help me out to square this up. If I get it in the right position. Kind of like that. So it's still rounded in the corner, but only a very tiny bit. Okay. Oh, hey, Anod, how you doing? Okay, Leah. Maybe I should do that for Wednesday, you're saying, is do a Bible study? Yeah, Nod, I'm back on YouTube again. Haven't seen you for a while. It's been a while. Good to see you're still here. Hopefully your channel's doing good. No, I'm prepping for my Bible study. Remember, I used to do them. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, Leah, I got you. That works a lot better than trying to stick my hand in there. Now what I need to do is get one of those sticks that I can get in there and make that wall come out more. I might have to make one of those sticks. I mean, I could buy one, I guess, but I don't want to spend the money to buy one. Not if I can make it. So if I do that, now I'll show you the inside. Well, you know what? Before I cut it off, let me show you the inside. Hopefully it doesn't fall over on me. That's the inside. So, yeah, it doesn't wobble like the other one did. It's a little bit of a thicker side. So that's what that looks like so far, Joyce. And then what I'd like to do is push these corners in. Kind of like that. And that way you can rotate it and take the lid out. I'm sure I'm not the first one that did this. Somebody has probably already done this. I've learned a long time ago, there's very few things that are new in life that you can do. Somebody's already done it, you know what I mean? And pottery's been around since the beginning of time, so. All right. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you in here. Gail made it in. Awesome. You like this new design? You like the straighter side? Is that what it is? The other one kind of looked weird, didn't it? Glad to see you both in here. So yeah, this is what it looks like on the top. And then of course, well, it is a little wonky now, isn't it, since I did that, but it's a little more of a straighter side. Guess I shouldn't do that, huh? Yeah, I made it a little bit wonky. Doesn't like to be hung over on its side like that. So let's measure the top on the lid. The lid's going to have to fit inside here. Do I have that right? Yeah, I think it's centered. All right. I didn't know if I had it adjusted for my shrinkage. All right. So that's going to take like a little bit of nothing to make. I do like that design better. And that's still 20 ounces of clay. Guess I could say the height. It's about 5 3/4 inch. So there's a little bit of clay in it yet, but not much. I don't know if I want to make it thinner or not. I think that's probably pretty good the way it is. Let's try to make a lid for it. Guess I can't use that clay. Let's use another piece over here. Yeah, I think it would look better if it had swirls on it. I definitely think it would look better. It's the sides without the swirls just don't do it for me. I don't know. I like throwing marks. It brings the piece to life, in my opinion. All right, that's better. Awful large bat to throw a small, tiny little lid on it. But that's okay. It's what I got, and that's what I'm going to use. So I don't know how much clay I'm going to use for that lid. It ain't much. This is where Gail comes in and says, you better weigh that clay out. And she's probably right because I won't know how much I used. Let's see. All right, let's try about 5 ounces. That's probably too much. Let's do 4 ounces. Let's do 4 ounces of clay once and see if I can make one out of that. It should be enough. Thank you, Cynthia. You can thank Leah for that. Leah is the one that said, Terry, you really need to be doing this again. And I guess it didn't take me much to think about, and I just said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do that. So it's harder to center a small piece of clay. Why is that? All right. Let's get it down to where that's probably the top of my handle, my knob. Let's bring it down. So I'm already over. It's getting close. Let me try here. Yeah, so right now I'm already oversized. So I don't even need 4 ounces of clay. I mean, maybe if I have to make my hand on the knob a little bit taller. So since you guys joined in, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make like a travel mug that with a lid that locks in. Since I don't have a travel mug, so to speak, I thought I would try to make one. And I'm sure somebody's done this design before, like I was saying, but I don't have my own, so I'm going to try to make my own. So now I'm definitely over. Not by much, though. Probably somewhere around in there. And that is not going to want to come up on me. There we go. Yep, and you're going to stick, aren't you? All right. All right, now I can work with that. That's pretty well it. I could probably make this bigger as well, though. You know, I really could make the mug bigger, the opening bigger, which I probably will do. But I have to make the bottom, of course, narrow like that. All right, I think we're going to go with that. Just a little bit out further. A little bit more. Right about there. Still about a 1/4 inch thick. And that's perfect, like that. We'll do that. And then I should probably wait till this thing's dried a little bit more before I actually cut the notch in it. But it's going to have one smiley face notch in it. And I'm going to leave it on. I'm not even going to cut this off. So it's going to dry just like that. So anyhow, then that will be the lid that goes into it, and it'll have a little notch cut in it. So you rotate it to one of those other spots, and you can pull it out. But I think the mug should be, or the cup, or whatever you want to call it, travel mug, whatever it is, don't have to have a handle. Should be a little bit bigger. And I think the opening should be a little bit larger as well. Because it's not going to be very comfortable to drink out of if it's too small. You'll hit your nose. That's not comfortable to drink out of. Let's see. Okay, cool. Always harassing Murray. Yes, you are always harassing me. I know, I know. Will it come out with only one notch? Yes, it's only going to have one notch. That way, Joyce, is that, yeah, Joyce, when you rotate it, you have to rotate it to one side or the other to be able to lift it, like the side that comes in. Like the side that comes in, you have to rotate the lid to that one side and then lift it out this way. And then put it back in. And also, it doesn't matter which way you rotate it, this side or this side, you can drink out of it. So it doesn't matter. Of course, you put a handle on, that would change, but, you know, but anyhow, you'd have just one notch in it. But you have to have these two in order to lock it in place. So when you drink, it doesn't flip out at you. That's my design. I'm sure it's been done before, but I'm going to change it up a little bit, add some swirls to it, keep the bottom narrow, and maybe bring the top out more to add more fluid to it, and that make the part you're drinking out of a little bit larger to make it more comfortable to drink out of, I think. I think that's going to fly. 20 ounces of clay for the main piece, and the bottom piece, I'm going to keep it at 4 ounces because if I make it larger, I'm probably going to need more clay anyhow. So I'll probably keep that at 4 ounces for now. But I like it better, way better than this one. I don't like this one at all now, and I ain't going to wait for it to dry. We're going to cut it off. I think I already did cut it off, but it's stuck again. How thin did I make this thing? Oh, look, I made it super thin. It couldn't even hold up to the wire. Oh yeah, that's way too thin. Way too thin. Well, we saw how it was acting. It was not acting like a nice sided piece at all. So that piece wasn't worth keeping in the first place. And it probably wouldn't have made it. I probably would have smashed it up anyhow. But at least this way I'll reuse the clay while it's wet. I don't have to recycle. What time is it? 9:13? I'll go about 9:30. How's that? Let's see. Okay, cool. I've talked to everybody. That's good. Let's see. We still have 5 people in here. Not bad. 7 thumbs up. That's good. Tomorrow night stream, I will probably be doing the handles and using the extruder. I already did use extruder, but I thought since I have these mugs here, I might just do handles on them too. So I waited. Besides, I think people would like to see that. I got to work out how I'm going to do them now because I'm not doing them how I used to do them. And I used to just pull from a lump of clay and just pull handles. Now I've got a shape I'm kind of starting with that's a little bit thicker. I hope it's thick enough that I can pull, like cut them at a certain length and then pull from that to once I attach them to the mug and pull a nice handle from that. I got to work through that because I'd never had the extruder before to try to lessen my work. I hope it does. I guess it's just a matter of getting used to it and working with it. You know how it is. Just got to practice with it and get better. So, Joyce, you should try making one of those mugs. And let me know how you make out. Or post a picture of it in my community portion of my YouTube. So I know how you made out. But I will be putting swirls in mine. I could probably do it to that now, but it'll probably screw up the lid then because he'll change that. Well, I can always remake the lid though, right? So it's not that big of a deal. It's not like it's a ton of clay. I will. I might start tonight. Well, good. Yeah, you should start tonight. You should start tonight because you're like motivated, like you want to try something new. So, I would definitely do that. So let's see if I can make another one, but put swirls in it, and then I'll probably hang it up for tonight. All right. A little bit wider. The kiln is firing. I got everything in the kiln that I need to get in the kiln. Say a little prayer. Hopefully everything turns out good in it. I need to keep the bottom narrow. I need to come up like this. Make some ridges. I kept a little bit of clay at the top. I'm going to try to get some of this clay out of the bottom here. And I made my stick with a clothespin. I took one of my little sponges. I put a notch in a stick I found, a dowel rod, and I shoved it in there, and so I didn't make the notch too big, and it's great. So it's a little long right now, but that's okay. I'll trim it back when I decide how long I want it. It doesn't hurt to have it a little bit long in case I do a tall piece or something. So I might just keep it that way. I'm going my evening Bible journey and prayers. Okay, cool, Leah. We will hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you Thursday. I do not like that. Kind of screwed that up a little bit. Any requests? Well, I don't know. Can't think of anything offhand right now, but love the stick. I got some wood clothespins. Yeah, I just do that. It was simple. I just took a little saw that I have just to cut that little notch, and I made it a little bit, just a tiny bit shy than the clothespin. I kept trying it, to make sure it was tight. You probably could put a clamp around that actually to make it tighter, or glue it in. You could probably use I'm guessing if you have a glue gun, you could probably use a hot glue if you wanted to, as long as the water didn't deteriorate it too much. But if you make it tight enough, I think the wood will swell, and then the clothespin is pretty well stuck in there. So, but that's all I did. It's a better close-up of that. And I just folded my sponge over like you see. And it's not too wide either. It's actually a good size. And these little sponges soak up a lot of water. So I'm a person that likes to make my own stuff if I can. Because I made my own tool out of like strapping material, metal strapping material to do the chattering. And it actually works pretty good. So I'm happy that worked out. But this is how my brain works, though. But definitely see me tomorrow. Okay, cool. And we'll see you then. Thank you for stopping in. It's always nice to have you in. All right, so I brought this in. Although I wanted to make it larger, didn't I? I mean, there's some clay in there yet, but I'd hate to make it too thin because I don't have what I had before. I want to keep this smaller down here to fit into cup holders in your vehicle. I don't particularly like the way it looks down there. All right, so I did keep this a little bit more clay up here. And I brought this out. And then what I did was after I brought it out, I thinned it up more. So I brought the lip up. And that's just thinning out the clay. And then, you know what? Right now what I can do is use my credit card. And I have one that was a small corner. I just made a small radius in there. So I could take it carefully and bring that edge up around it. To square that corner off in there. And again, I'm not really squaring it much. I'm just making it flatter, I guess is what I should say. So now I got more water in here. I'll pull it off the wheel so you can see where I'm at this point. All right. So right now, I hope this thing don't fall over. You can kind of see what it looks like now. I don't really care for the way this looks though. I'm probably going to try to change that up somehow. I don't know. I'll come up with another design, but the top is going to be like that somehow. I'm not liking this shape too much. It's okay, but you know, now it don't like to be on its side. Now there again, when you do that, when you bring this up, you don't want your walls here to be in like that where you're going to be drinking. You want it to kind of come out a little bit more. And then what you do is you can fold this in. It probably don't even have to be much that it's folded in, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not pushing down here. I'm just pushing the top edge in. So it kind of rolls itself in. And of course, we'll just have to fool with it a little bit to make it look prettier, you know. So anyhow, so far that's where I'm at on my travel mug. And this lid will probably be different than the other one. It's almost the same size. It's almost the same size. It would probably almost work. I really think it would. But this one, I'm just going to make it a little bit larger. Just a little bit. And that way, I can trim the fit. because we all know how that goes. Oh, I never cut this off the wheel. All right. Just like I made that. I just bought one of these at Home Depot and I bent the end on it like that. And this one here is like, I bought one that's really flimsy, right? So I can get it in there and bend it and give that leverage to pop it off of the wheel head. Yeah, I'm not sold on that design yet. As far as the look of it, I hate how it has to be so narrow in the bottom. I really don't like that look of being so narrow like that, but maybe I'll just make it more of a steeper angle. That way it still fits in. I think that's what I'll end up doing with that. And then let's make the lid while I'm here because I want them to dry together. Let's see. This side. Well, it's almost 9:30. I think I could throw one in a couple minutes. And I don't need a lot of clay, but it's probably going to be 4 ounces. Is that 4 ounces? It's 3.99. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll give it a tiny bit just for good luck, right? I couldn't do that again. All right. I see these people making these tiny, tiny pieces for doll houses, I guess, and stuff. I don't think you can use your hands. You're going to have to use a tool to make those little pieces. Pretty crazy, but it's hard to center small stuff. I don't know. So make a button lid for it. Oh boy. The good Lord knew it was time to quit. I pulled that out, and right there is the size I need. Make a little swirly on the top. The lid just enough to grab. I love clay. I love it. This is really the most fun I have all day is on the wheel. I mean, I like glazing, but I don't like it as much as I like this, is creating with my hands like this. Adding color is another way to bring out your expression in your piece. There's no doubt about it. I just really like this part of it a lot more. I had to drop that right on my piece. Get off there. There we go. I'm going to bring that up just a tiny, tiny bit. So I may have to refine the lid a little bit, but that's perfect the way it is. I'll just have to cut, once it dries and not so sticky, I'll cut that opening in it. Probably tomorrow it'll be dry enough that I could do that and try it. You guys are getting a good view of everything, right? Is the camera at a good angle and everything? There you go. It's 9:32, and I was able to complete that piece. But that's the handle. So it'll get that notch cut in it. I'll work on the shape of that mug. I'm not completely happy with that shape, but the top part I think is going to have to remain the way it is. I'll fool with that too a little bit, but I kind of think that's where it's at, you know. I don't know. I could probably do a different lid, you know. Maybe I'll think about this. And Joyce, you think about it too. And maybe yours will be different than mine. You know what I mean? You'll come up with something completely different, which is cool. So thank you. Going live every day will release stress. You're darn right, Cynthia. It definitely does release stress for me. I love it. I do love it because it gets me down here on the wheel, you know. And I love talking to you guys. I love the chat back and forth. I miss you guys and how we always used to get together, you know, a little more often, more frequently. And I enjoy your all company for sure. Yeah, if you think of it, Joyce, take a picture of it and put it in the community so I can see it. And on YouTube there. I'm curious to what you come up with. But there, I got some clay on me. I might buy more of these shirts and then sell them. I don't know. It's got the logo here, and then of course the logo on the back. I'm getting some shirts made. That's going to be like a I don't know what you want to call it, a shirted, a collared shirt, like almost like a tennis shirt in a way. So I'm going to get some of those made up too, and some sweatshirts and stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to sell them or not. I don't know. Right now I'm buying for myself, but and my wife, and my daughter, and stuff. So if I get anybody that asks about it and wants to buy out, maybe I'll do that. I could sell them, but that's not my business. You know what I mean? Miss you too. I love our Friday nights. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Gail. I'm just glad you're here. You know, I know that you throw pottery too, and I appreciate your thoughts, your inputs, and you just add a lot to this as well, like Joyce does. And, you know, you remind me, actually, take notes, weigh your clay out, be prepared when you do a live. Yep. And I've been trying to do that, Gail, because I hear your voice. I don't hear your voice, but I hear you saying that in my head because of your text. So that's why I've been trying to do it. And it actually helps me, you know. So I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to get off here now. So that was what, a 2-hour live? That's pretty good for every day. And then Friday night I could do a longer live, maybe, and Saturday, who knows? I don't know what I'll do the weekend. We'll see. Well, yeah. I'm glad it helps me. It helps me, Gail. It sure does. Let me roll around here to the camera. Sitting like that all the time. I should probably stand up more too, probably, you know. Do some standing and stuff. But so yeah, we didn't do a whole lot tonight. We did a lot of practicing, you know, but it was fun. Fun while we did it. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And again, tomorrow will be like a wacky Wednesday where I will do a vertical live. So that'll be interesting. But I'm hoping that it might attract more people to subscribe. Who knows? But anyhow, Love you all. And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Good night, all.